Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube, and welcome to part 2 of my 4,000 subscriber Q&A series. We got some really unique questions in this one. We're going to get right into it, and the first question is a doozy. I'm going to warn you. What are your thoughts on the rare plant market? Actually, I do have some knowledge in this particular market because I did know a very eccentric man when I was in my 20s who actually did dabble in rare plants, and he had a lot of experience in that market. He made quite a bit of money, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if his money, though, came from the rare plant market. What I will tell you is this is not a market for myself. This is not a market for 99.8% of the people watching this channel, in my assessment. I'm sure while we were in quarantine, I got to check out The Tiger King on Netflix, and spoiler alert, that guy dealt in exotic animals and he ended up in prison. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that everybody that deals in rare plants or exotic species of animals is going to end up in prison, but there are a lot of regulations and a lot of laws that you have to follow if you get into this market. So if you tell me, Sean, I'm an experienced botanist, I have a lot of knowledge and experience in this particular market, I have set clients that are very ethical, we follow every law and regulation to the T, then I will tell you, by all means, get into this market. Me, I don't collect anything or invest in anything that has the potential to die. That's probably not a good investment strategy going forward, meaning if you put your money in rare plants and then one of them or a couple of them die, how's that going to play out for you? I'm just going to be 100% honest. At least with a Pokemon card, a rare coin, or even a Magic the Gathering card or a comic book, you don't have to worry about the thing dropping dead and losing 100% of its value. So I know that that's a little bit morbid to talk about that, but that is something you have to look at if you are getting into this market with the goal of making any type of money, whether from short-term flipping and speculation or through long-term investment. So rare plants, exotic animals, that's not a market I get involved in. I don't even like, I'm going to be 100% honest, in the antiques trade, sometimes I'll come across ivory. And as you know, ivory is heavily regulated in the antiques trade just due to poaching, due to some of the horrible stories that are coming out of Africa, South Africa, with elephants and the like, to the point where I will even tell people, you know, I will gladly look this up for you, but I don't want my name attached to it at all. Meaning if a client comes to me with ivory, I literally have to tell him, this is something you're most likely going to have a problem selling, even if it's antique ivory in most cases. Ivory is very regulated in the antiques trade, so just keep that in mind. If you get involved in anything that has ivory in it even, there are regulations that you have to follow in most cases, so be very careful about that. Next question. Sean, what are your thoughts on collecting and investing in Laserdiscs for the short term or the long term? I am not a fan of Laserdisc technology. Laserdisc technology is a dead format. It's no different than 8-track tapes. It's no different than VHS tapes. Now, I know what you're going to say. Sean, I went on eBay. There's this Laserdisc movie I want to buy. It seems to be going for a large amount of money. Why is that? It's generally because that particular version of that particular movie is really popular with enthusiasts because either it's the best version of that particular movie or it has deleted scenes or some added content that those particular types of enthusiasts and collectors are willing to pay a premium for. But I want to warn you, younger collectors that are coming into the fold, into the antiques and collectibles trade, they are not going to be attracted to Laserdiscs over the short term or the long term. So that is a dying market. I would not get involved in that market from a long-term time horizon investing perspective. That is just my opinion. If you want to get into it short-term, meaning you go to a yard sale, you go to a garage sale, don't forget to wear your mask, but if you do go to those places and you find a rare Laserdisc movie and you want to flip it, by all means, feel free. But it is not a market for long-term growth. It's the same thing with 8-track tapes. It's the same thing with CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, cassette tapes, and VHS tapes, with few exceptions. If you do want to collect something entertainment related that does have the potential to go up in value, go after first edition, first pressings of vinyl records. Vinyl records are being sought out right now by younger collectors and older collectors alike. That category is going strong. That actually is a growth category that is transitioning to the established side of the antiques and collectibles trade. So that's something to be excited about because younger collectors are gravitating towards vinyl records. Analog sound is here to stay now that we live in a digital world. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, most vinyl records were recorded via analog. They were not digitally recorded unless if they are modern era digital remasters, which is another discussion for another video. But if you are collecting analog, true analog records, those particular records can have value in the present time and going forward. So that is an investable item. Laserdiscs are not, VHS movies are not. Be very careful getting involved in any of those other markets. More on that in an upcoming video. Next question. Hey, Sean, do you think Steve Jackson Illuminati game cards will go up in price? Honestly, right now, there is a massive euphoria surrounding a lot of these collectible card games, whether we're looking at Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, even some of the up-and-coming card games like Flesh and Blood, or even the defunct card games where people are going to eBay and they are paying a fairly strong price for some of these other esoteric card games that came out in the 1990s, maybe in the early 2000s that didn't do too well. And as a result, I'm getting a lot of questions on this. In my opinion, the Illuminati game card game that came out in 1995 was ingenious. Okay, so I give credit there. I was a huge fan of it, obviously. Look at the symbol I use for this particular channel and my own company. You will see that it's kind of similar. So I do have a liking towards that. But overall, I would not be investing in that item long term. If you do like it, you want to buy it, you want to buy a box of Illuminati game cards right now on eBay, it's really not going to break you, even if you pay several $100s for it. I get it if you just want to have it. But as a long-term investment, it's not something that I would advise. It is something of an esoteric nature. It does tend to appeal to conspiracy kooks and also tinfoil hat-wearing crazies. So there are people out there that are drawn to it outside of the collectibles marketplace. So it does have a market. There are people that will always pay a certain price to get those cards, but they're not going to pay a premium for it. And with that, I don't think it's going to go up in value, much like a vintage box of Pokemon cards or a vintage Magic the Gathering booster box, if that helps. Next question, because it is kind of related. Hello again. Do you think that Wizards of the Coast Pokemon booster boxes will hold or increase their value in a period of 10 years? In my opinion, right now, the trend is your friend until it ends. I'm going to state this. All these collectible card games are in mass demand at present time. Looking forward, I do think that certain vintage booster boxes from both Pokemon and the Magic the Gathering card games have room to run up over the next 10 years. I'm going to be 100% honest. But I don't think the gains are going to be that massive as they were in the past. For instance, right now a box of Mirage booster box right now for Magic the Gathering goes for $3,000, $3,500 on eBay. Those are sold prices. Somebody reached out to me and tried to start an argument stating that that particular booster box is going to be worth $30,000 in 10, 15 years from now. I'm sorry, there's too much supply out there. There are a lot of people like Rudy with Alpha Investments, and there's other individuals that have massive quantities of those particular items in factory sealed condition that they are not releasing on the secondary market at present time. So these particular collectibles do exist in larger quantities than are known. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that as long as there are more buyers coming into the market that keep propping up the price will go up. But there is a cap as to what somebody is going to be willing to pay for a lot of these items. It's the same reason why a CGC copy of Incredible Hulk 181 in 9.2 or 9.4 condition is never going to be a $50,000 comic book. And there's people that love to argue with me saying, no, Sean, you don't understand. Younger collectors coming into this market, they love Wolverine. They're going to want a copy of that in their collection. They're going to be willing to pay for it whenever they hit their peak earning years. And I have to tell people, look at the CGC census. There's too much of this stuff out there. There's too much of it in existence. Compared to the Batman 1 that just sold for over $2 million, of which there's only one known copy in 9.4 condition, you cannot compare an Incredible Hulk 181 from what, 1974, of which multiple copies were hoarded in near mint condition across the board. There's copies of that book in 9.8 and even 9.9 condition. So coming into a discussion with me claiming that your 9.4 copy of Incredible Hulk 181 is going to be a $50,000 comic book in 10, 20 years is ridiculous. Now, to be fair, if you do want to put money in something like that, I'm not saying it's not going to go up in value. As a matter of fact, I have people that come to me on the consulting side of my business where I do state, okay, if you really want to go after this item, get it in this grade or higher, and it should appreciate a little bit over the next few years. But it is not going to be, in my opinion, an investment grade grand slam. Meaning you're not going to pay $7,000 for an Incredible Hulk 181, sell it 5 years from now for $14,000. That's just unrealistic at this particular point in time. The price appreciation and the easy money has already been made. And how this relates to Pokemon, getting back to your question, because I do go off on rants from time to time, Pokemon is in a similar boat. A lot of the gains have already been made in the last few years. Are there still gains to be made? Yes, but they are not going to be as drastic. That's my opinion. Next question. Hey, Sean, I know someone who's holding on to an old 1992 Batman Returns Collector's Cup from McDonald's. He thinks the value will eventually go up. I think he's insane. You are 100% correct. He's not analyzing the market properly. That's all I'm going to say. This is a question I honestly almost left out of this Q&A because most people out there already know items like this are so esoteric and they've been mass-produced in such massive quantities that who is coming into the collectibles marketplace going, you know what? In 1992, I remember going to McDonald's and along with my Big Mac and large fry, I was given a Batman Returns Collector's Cup. I want to go to the secondary market. I want to buy that cup back. And I'm willing to pay X number of dollars or anything to get it because it represents my childhood. I'm sorry. Most people are not in that mindset over an item like that. It was a collectible item back in 1992. As a result, McDonald's utilized mass-produced scarcity to market that product. There is no organic collectability there. So as a result, if you want to own it, you want to have it, you go to eBay and it costs a couple of bucks and you just want to put it on a shelf and go, hey, I remember when that movie came out, my father or my uncle, or I went with my parents to see it. It has a special meaning in my life. I get it, then go and buy it. But it is not an investable item. Make no mistake. Next question. Sean, I think it would be great if you could briefly talk about the rise of fake graded cards that are appearing. There's not just fake cards to look at for now. There's also people making fake graded slabs. Yes, this is a problem in a lot of these markets where prices are soaring. And it's not just Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. It's also sports cards. It's baseball, hockey cards, basketball cards, and the like. Wherever there's money to be made, there are going to be certain unethical Timmies operating in that market, taking advantage of people who do not have the knowledge to adequately assess the validity and the authenticity of some of these items. Now, to be fair, if usually you come across a fake graded slab, usually if you look up the serial number on the grading company's website, that'll provide hints as to if it's authentic or not. Now, I have seen very small amount, but certain instances where the people that are making fake graded slabs, they're actually copying the serial number from a legitimate, equally authentic card. So that is causing confusion in some of these markets. But luckily, if you buy through a very well-vetted auction house like Heritage Auctions or Hakes or, Morphe's or any of these other auction houses that cater to these markets, even PWCC on eBay, pretty much, if you come across a graded fake slab or even a fake card, they will take it back if you can prove that it is fake and non-legitimate. Most of these companies are already very good at detecting counterfeits before they end up in their auction listings. I just want to point that out. I will also say that, yes, fake cards, unslabbed, are also on the rise, But thank you, Rudy with Alpha Investments. I want to give a shout out to him because he's done several videos where he teaches people how to recognize fake versus authentic Magic the Gathering cards, and he does a good job on it. If you have those cards in your hand, the most, how do I want to say this? The most educated enthusiast who sees those particular cards, if they are fake, they recognize that they're fake right away. The casual collector who may only come across those cards every once in a while, he just needs some education as to what to look for. And this is why I said, if you do collect Magic the Gathering cards and you're worried about fakes, go and watch Rudy with Alpha Investments. He's done a ton of videos on this, and he's done an excellent job. So I want to give a shout out to that. With sports cards, I'm going to state something controversial. Most people that are spending large amounts of money on sports cards that are vintage, they are buying graded sports cards. So again, if they are getting into this market and they know what to look for in lieu of fake slabs, they should be okay. They should avoid this market entirely just by utilizing that amount of caution and sticking with very well vetted auction houses and the like. So I hope that answers your question, but you are 100% correct. Fakes are on the rise in a lot of these collecting markets. I'm even seeing it with video games. I am seeing it with coins, but the thing about coins is most coins that are sold to like a collector of my caliber, they're going to already be slabbed. So it's harder to put through a fake graded coin that is also CAC stickered to somebody like me, to another high-end dealer, or somebody that's been in that market for decades on end. So I just want to state that. Next question. Sean, congratulations on 4,000 subscribers. I would like to know the 3 coins that you are looking for right now in regards to building your investment grade collection. Country, date, metal, etc. Always fun to know what other collectors are chasing. Okay, I don't know if this is a legitimate question. I don't know if this is a troll where this person goes, hey, I know that Sean bids on heritage auctions and Stacks and Bowers, so I'm going to get him to tell me what 3 coins he's going after so I can bid him up. Well, I'm going to tell you, if that is one of your goals in your mind, I'm just going to state it's not going to work because there is only a set price that I will pay for some of these items. And if somebody outbids me, guess what? I'm happy to let the item go. I've said this before. My problem right now in the collectibles marketplace is that a lot of these markets are on fire. They're all in euphoric bubbles at present time. So there are coins out there where literally a year ago, I could have got that coin for $5,000. I log on to Heritage, I log on to some of these sites, and it's like people are bidding up the coin at $6,000 or $7,000. And I'm here like, what are you doing, dude? A year ago, you could have got that same coin for $5,000. And because we had a pandemic, because the economy went haywire, because our social lives are all askew with the wonderful quarantines and everything, guess what? Now you're going to pay $2,000, $3,000 more for that same coin? That's ridiculous. So I am going to answer this. The first coin I am looking for, and I can tell you this firsthand, there is one right now in a current heritage auction. It's a 1909 S Indian cent in MS65 condition that is also CAC stickered. So for me to buy that coin, I would want it in at least MS65 condition. It has to be CAC stickered, and it has to have good eye peel. And that coin will cost anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 in today's market. I would be willing to pay $5,000, $5,500 for that coin at present time. I will not pay a penny more, pun intended. The other coins that I am going after, I'm going to answer this generically, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to answer this generically. I like to go after scarce date coins for certain series. So the 2 series that I am going after hardcore right now are Walking Liberty $50 and also Buffalo Nickels. Now, the reason why I can't give you direct dates is because I'm going after scarce dates. They come up for bid in the condition that I want them, very few and far between. So I tend to go after these coins in at least MS64 or MS64 plus or better, and they all have to be CAC stickered for me to touch them. So that should give you an idea as to what I'm going after. To answer your question more specifically, I only collect U.S. coins that were minted from the late 1700s all the way up through the late 1930s. I also only collect ancient coins. I do not do anything with world coins at present time because, in my opinion, that market is still coming into its own. World coins are a little bit more riskier, not much, but just a little bit more riskier than US coins and ancient coins at present time, in my opinion, the way that I analyze the market. And there is going to be more videos on this channel devoted to coin collecting. So if that content, if anything that I said there does interest you, please stay tuned. I am going to show you guys some coins from my own personal collection as well at some point on this channel. Next question. Sean, maybe someone should start a company that grades the holders of grading companies. Now, you may wonder why I chose to include this question. Well, ironically, it is valid. There's a lot of people that don't seem to realize that if you pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a coin on heritage auctions, and that coin comes to you, there's a good chance, believe it or not, that that coin, the case may have a ding in it. The case may be a little bit chipped. There may be an auction label on that particular coin. This is all common in the high-end collectibles marketplace, guys. Some of you people reach out to me and you go, Sean, if I buy a Pokemon card from eBay and I buy a PSA graded Pokemon card and that case isn't in mint condition, I send it back for a full refund. Well, you guys don't really understand how this market works. High-end investors, high-end collectors, they're buying the collectible. They're not buying the holder. And I get it. If you're displaying an item, or if an item comes to you and it's truly cracked, meaning the actual collectible is compromised. Like, for instance, I one time bought a very rare and expensive comic book on a dealer website, and the dealer did not pack the comic book very well. So when I got it, the whole back of the case was cracked to the point where I had to send it in to CGC. CGC looked at the comic book and said, you know, I hate to tell you, we're going to drop it a grade. Well, at that particular point, I went back to the dealer, told him the story, and he made it right. I was able to get him in touch. He called CGC as well. I gave him permission to comment on the comic book, and they touched base, and he actually gave me a full refund. And then when the comic book came back after being reholdered and also in a lower grade, I sent it back to him. And he was very accommodating with that transaction. Now, does that happen a lot? No. So there are differences in how you analyze this. But overall, as long as the holder is intact, meaning if you look at the holder, it's not compromised in any way. It doesn't matter if the holder is scratched. It doesn't matter if the holder's chipped. It doesn't matter to someone like me if the auction company places an unsightly sticker on that particular holder. I am buying the coin. At any given time, if I don't like the holder that it sits in, because I'm the high-end collector that bought it, it's my responsibility to send it into the grading company to get reholdered. Companies do offer this service. It is much cheaper than getting an item regraded, obviously, and as long as the holder's intact, it will come back the same grade, almost guaranteed. Now, to be fair, I do know on eBay, sometimes some of you guys out there that collect action figures or graded video games, it's very easy for a case like that to get cracked in transit or chipped. That provides another issue by and large, meaning you have to understand that if that item was packed properly and it still got damaged, the seller should make that right to you. But if he had an item like an AFA graded Star Wars figure and it's sitting on his shelf and he sends it to you and you look at it and you go, you know, there's a scratch on the back of the case. I'm sorry. That seller that sold it to you, he should not have to pay to give you a partial refund or recase that item. You got what you paid for. You paid for the action figure. The case of that figure, as long as it is intact, as long as it will go to a grading company and get regraded in the same condition that it was sold to, that's all that you paid for. You do not get to state, well, I want a mint condition holder or I'm not going to buy this item. Because I'm going to tell you, when you get into the high-end market, the market that I'm in, for like $5,000, $10,000 coins, you go on Heritage, you go on the Stocks and Bowers. If you send them an email and go, hey, what's the condition of the holder of this particular item? They're going to laugh at you. They're going to be like, why is this dude's looking to invest in a $5,000 to $10,000 coin, and he's worried about one small chip on the back edge of the holder? Are you kidding me? Now, I know that's going to upset a lot of the Timmies and the Poindexters out there and possibly some of the Kimmies. Feel free to put your rage in the comment section below, and I will handle it as it comes. I'm sorry. As a consultant in the trade, I see too many people wanting perfection where it cannot exist. More on that in an upcoming video. Next question. Sean, Thank you for your videos and congrats on reaching 4,000 subscribers. I do hope that you are still working on continuing the videos dedicated to storage, maintenance, and insurance for antiques and collectibles. The answer is yes. I will state this. Those videos take me a long time to finalize. As a result, some of them are still stuck in what I call development hell. Once they are finalized, I will upload them right here on YouTube. I am not withholding that information. Those videos are just not done at present time. Remember, guys, I am a part-time YouTuber who works as a consultant in the trade. It is not the other way around. So this channel exists basically when I have time to record videos. That's pretty much how I work this. That's going to conclude part 2 of the 4,000 subscriber Q&A. Second spoiler alert of this video, there is going to be a part 3, so please watch for it. Thanks for watching and have a great night.